Good evening, guys. How's everybody today? So, it is Friday and I'm feeling a little blue. Excuse the lighting, I am sitting in my car waiting to pick up Matt from work. I am trying to count my blessings, but I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed because I've got so much going on medically, and with the co-pays, it's feeling a little overwhelming. So, for instance, I had a sleep study, as you guys know, about two and a half weeks ago, and the copay for that through Medicare is $150 just for one. And the results came back that I have severe sleep apnea. So in order to calibrate the BiPAP machine that I will be getting, and there'll be a copay for that too, I have to have another in-lab sleep study, which will be another $150. So there's $300. Then I still have to go see an ENT. I kind of put it off because I wanted to kind of deal with the copays that I have going on. So I don't know how much that will be, but I'm sure it'll be a decent amount because, it's a specialist. And then I do have continuing GI issues, so I have to go and see a GI as well, and there'll be a high copay for that for me as well. And I know that having some insurance is better than having none, and I know paying 20% doesn't seem that bad, but it's a little overwhelming because, when you're on a low income, $300 for 2 sleep studies, that's kind of a lot, and it's going to take me a while to pay it off. And unfortunately, some of these offices, they want it faster than you can afford to give it, and they don't care that you're on a low income, and they don't care that you've got other bills and your rent is ridiculously high, and that your car might need some work soon, and your son has a high dental bill that you're trying to pay off. By the grace of God, the dentist that did that work for us, he was very kind and heavily discounted it. But there's still, a pretty high copay going on. I also need glasses very badly, and mine are 5 years old. And the iron treatments that I had, they were successful. I am almost not anemic. And my ferritin levels went up, and I am feeling much better. I'm sure I'll feel much, much better once I have a new BiPAP to help me with the sleep apnea. So these are all positive things, and trust me, I am grateful for the insurance I do have. And I'm just feeling so overwhelmed because I'm honestly not sure how I'm going to afford all of this. I do have to go back to the hematologist in 6 months, which I know will give me time to pay what I do owe them. But I will probably need another 5 to 6 treatments at that point, and that'll be another $150. So it's just rough when you're on a low income, guys. Oh, and then last night my dryer worked. Now, praise God that it can be fixed and I don't have to get a new unit. I have a Space Saver, the kind that the washer and dryer are attached. So, if one goes and can't be repaired, then you have to replace the whole unit. So I'm very grateful that I am able to have it repaired, and those repairs are $245, which in the long run is not as bad as having to buy a whole new $1,500 to $1,600 unit. So I am very grateful for that. It feels really heavy right now. I am hoping to start Instacarting a few mornings next week. I've just been at such a lack for energy between one thing and another. It's just not easy. I don't sleep well because of the sleep apnea and menopause and all that good stuff. And if I get a migraine, that sometimes takes me out for several days in a row. But I really have to push through, try to Instacart a couple mornings out of the week, at least make a little bit extra, because also I do take probably about 10 prescriptions daily, and I do fill them like every 3 months. I have GoodRx, but I don't have coverage other than that, and it gets expensive. Any given time when I need multiples filled, I could spend $150 to $300 the month that I fill them. I'm very lucky that a good friend has been helping me out with some excess in-date insulin that her daughter doesn't need, and she's been shipping it to me, and I pay her the shipping, so I'm very grateful for that. Like I said, it just feels like a lot, and I'm feeling very alone. And I kind of thought at this point in life things would be different. This is definitely not the life that I had planned for myself. I did everything right. I thought I picked the right partner, and unfortunately that didn't work out. And then I thought I had the right partners picked beforehand, and not that I was never capable of taking care of myself. It's just that, I would like to be in a 50-50 partnership that evolves into, either marriage or like a long-term relationship where we kind of take care of each other, and so you don't have to worry about this and these issues. Had I still been married to my first husband, we would have been married 30 years. And I was never married to Matt's dad because, as some of you know, he left. And unfortunately, the man that I was with for six and a half years, that didn't work out either, or I would have been married again by now. Well, definitely by now. So, it's hard when you don't have anybody really to have your back, and you have everybody else's back. Of course I'm going to always have my kids' backs. They're still teenagers, they're too young, and I don't want to worry them with this stuff. I don't have my parents anymore, and if I did, they would be way up there, and they probably wouldn't be able to help me, even though I know they try. But, I'm missing my aunt, because I don't even have her to talk to about this stuff anymore. I went to the doctor the other day, the hematologist, and that's how I found out about the iron treatments and how they helped me. And she would have been the first one that I called because she knows what it's like to deal with these things. And then I picked up the phone to text her, and, well, I remember that she's not there. So that's kind of soul-crushing. I'm also feeling down because the cabinets are still hanging off my kitchen wall. It's going to be another couple of days before they can be fixed, and then we're having a plumbing issue in the bathroom, and it's all kind of adding up, and I haven't really seen Steve a whole lot, and we've only been together a year and a half, so I can't expect too much from him. But, I know that, if I had still been married to my first husband, or if things had worked out with any of my other partners, that wouldn't mean that life was just completely worry-free. It just would have meant that I would have had somebody to have my back, just like I would have their back. If they needed something and I could provide it, I would do it, but unfortunately I don't have that. So I'm left to figure it out all by myself, and it's scary. So thanks for listening, guys. I appreciate you guys more than you know. Sorry to be such a Debbie Downer. You guys know that I'm not usually. I'm just feeling a little weary, still mourning my aunt. And I know that I should feel better that she's not suffering, and I do. But, it just stinks as you get older. You feel like you're left more and more alone. I never really had much of a support system, and, well, she was part of the little one that I had. So, I hope that your Friday evening finds you better. Again, I'm counting my blessings. I am very glad that my dryer can be fixed. I am very glad that I'll be able to pay for it. However, that means that it'll take me even longer to get glasses now. And all the other things. So, you know me, I will soldier on. I will figure it out. I always do. I am sending love from New Jersey. Have a nice evening, guys.